Yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good? Boxing Source here, and I wanted to talk about comments from former multi-division champion Mikey Garcia. He is getting prepared for his fight against Sandor Martin that's coming up on Saturday, and he says that this particular fight is one that's getting in the way of him getting title fight opportunities. He says that he wants to pursue big fights, title fights, and be recognized as one of the best fighters in the world once again. This fight against Sandor Martin is another step in that direction. He also said that he was interested in fighting Manny Pacquiao and Regis Prograis, but we weren't able to get those fights, and we landed on Sandor Martin, and he is a very good fighter. He's a southpaw. He's relatively unknown in America, but worldwide and in the sport, people know him. He's got a great record at 38-2. He's hungry for a big opportunity like this, and he wants to capitalize on it. There's a little bit more, that Mikey Garcia said in reference to this fight coming up on Saturday, but, kind of like breaking down those few sentences there. It's kind of interesting seeing Mikey Garcia going into the ring against Sandor Martin. I mean, yeah, he's a southpaw and, maybe relatively unknown in America. But, we were kind of like thinking that Mikey Garcia would be able to put himself in position to higher profile fights. During 2020, after he had his fight back in February of 2020 against Jesse Vargas, we were seeing if he could put himself in position with fights against the likes of a Sean Porter or maybe a Keith Thurman or even a Yordenis Ugas. And even in the case of Yordenis Ugas, that could have been his opportunity to try to fight for a position to get into a fight against Manny Pacquiao. Because, even though we've seen that it was, a little bit of circumstances here and there, Yordenis Ugas ended up getting a fight with Manny Pacquiao and took advantage of it and got the win. And so now you see Yordenis Ugas as a champion in the welterweight division and has that win over Manny Pacquiao. While on the flip side, you got Mikey Garcia here going up against Sandor Martin. And, I don't think that he really gets much momentum from this particular fight against Martin. And so, if he goes ahead and gets this win, then, he kind of like is pretty much around the same position that he was before this fight, is going to be taking place. So with Mikey Garcia there, of course he has, a very good record. Only his lone loss coming to Errol Spence Jr. Back there in 2019. But, outside of that, he really hasn't done much to really move the needle in the welterweight division. Like I said, he only has that one loss, 40 wins in his overall record. But you would kind of think that he would try to get himself in position to fight for a world title, or he could have done something to get himself in position to fight for a world title. But you have all of those guys that are available there in the welterweight division that he could fight, but hasn't been able to take place yet. So, this comment by him about, him having to beat Sandor Martin to land title fights, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you got unified champ Errol Spence Jr., that's, on the shelf for a little bit. Of course, you know about Terrence Crawford going up against Sean Porter for that WBO title. And I did mention Yordenis Ugas is the WBA world champion right now. So maybe if Mikey Garcia gets through this, maybe he can position himself to fight Yordenis Ugas next year. As, like I said, there was an opportunity for him to fight Yordenis Ugas for the WBA regular title at the time, but there was really not much mention of that fight at all. And so circumstances just happen to have, your Dennis Hughes facing Manny Pacquiao and him getting the win and being the sole WBA world champion at welterweight. So we're going to see what happens here on Saturday with Mikey Garcia and Sandor Martin. And then after that, if Mikey Garcia gets the win, then we'll see what his moves are going to be in 2022. But on that note, you can share your thoughts about Mikey Garcia and what he's saying here ahead of his fight against Sandor Martin. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the Boxing Source here on YouTube. We really appreciate it. On that note, I'm out. Peace.